Hey there, Georgie here with Ukraine Matters. My voice is still settling in after the sickness, so I'm sorry if this sounds a bit weird for you, but I'm slowly recovering. I want to start today's episode by saying something that I hope we all can agree on here, which is congratulate President Volodymyr Zelensky on his birthday. And during his birthday, right now, today, he has been working very intensely with the President of Moldova, Maya Sandu, and other businesses. Thank you so much for being there when we were needing you the most, President Zelensky, and we're hoping that you will see this war through the end. Thank you for your position, and thank you for bringing democracy back to the world stage. And talking about bringing democracy to the world stage, since recently Ukraine has renewed intense strikes against the targets inside of Russia. They have been striking the ammunition factories, including the factories that were just renewed. They were striking also the oil refineries, and they have been utilizing more and more drones to do so. The agency actually did an overview of Ukrainian drone strikes, and they're stating that while right now they're still not at the highest peak that they were, for example, in September, and this new wave of attacks is happening pretty frequently, and we will see how Russia will suffer even more. Again, Ukraine is growing its drone capability. Since the last year, they have been producing thousands of drones. Just last time, we covered that Ukraine is pivoting from the Chinese manufactured components to Ukrainian produced drone components, which again creates the ability for Ukraine to grow its internal production, and drones have proven themselves to be one of the most, if not the most cost-effective weapons in the current war landscape for Ukraine. So it's great news. It's great to see that Ukraine is dominating the drone warfare, and Russians are not having a great time at all. With regards to the map update, I know a lot of you guys have been asking me for that, and I will do the detailed map update as soon as possible. There's a lot of things to talk about. There are some really problematic areas here. But what I must say, the tendencies that we're seeing right now is that overall Russian tempo of advances have been slowing down. And secondly, Ukrainians have been conducting certain small scale but still counterattack against the Russian positions, and they were able to retake small parts of the territory back. But we will cover this in details in the next video, hopefully. Since the last video, Marco Rubio, a current acting Secretary of State of the Trump administration, has issued a statement that they are halting all foreign aid except for some. And a lot of people and a lot of news publications again assumed that Ukrainian aid will be halted. And the details of this obviously clearly state that it doesn't. I tried to explain it last time, but people got confused and I got a lot of messages. So let's go step by step about what kind of help does Ukraine get, and I'm going to tell you how it is impacted by these restrictions. So the first one is the foreign military financing. A foreign military financing, it's taking and paying money for funding either military procurement, military training, military activities of foreign nations. So in this case, we're talking about financing, for example, Ukrainian train programs, financing Ukrainian basic equipment, stuff like that. This program, as you can see, is managed by the Secretary of State. So technically, it would fall within that ban of the Marco Rubio initiative. However, the issue here is that all of the funds that were supposed to be allocated to Ukraine through the foreign military financing program have already been allocated by the Biden administration. Until there is a new budget, then any kind of allocation of money through this program is not even considered. So this does not matter within the current ban. Second program is the Presidential Drawdown Authority. Presidential Drawdown Authority is, in short, is the authority of the president to be able to get the existing Pentagon stock delivered to the Ukrainian armed forces. Biden's administration tried to use up all of the allocated money on this program before the end of his term, but they were not able to do it. So since Biden left the office and Trump took control of the office, there is still about 2 billion of US dollars that are allocated to this program that is in the possession of Trump to be allocated. So he can take equipment that essentially would cost about $2 billion and deliver it to Ukraine. But this program does not fall within that ban that was issued on the support of foreign aid troops. However, no new procurements on the PDA program have been announced. So this program, while active and can be utilized, is not being really utilized by the Trump administration. The third major program that US is using to interact with Ukraine is the Department of Defense program, which is USAI, Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative. In this program, mostly it was used for the Department of Defense contracting existing US weapons manufacturers to produce new equipment or refurbish some of the older equipment for the needs of Ukrainians and to be delivered at the day when it's being produced. So it's a long-term contracting. This program, while also including some parts of direct financing of the Ukrainian military, such as, for example, for training purposes rather than just equipment, still falls outside of the ban issued by the Trump administration. So this program is fully active and ongoing. And finally, some confusion happened because of my poor pronunciation of American names. So here we had actually the United States Agency for International Development, which is USAID. And this agency works with a lot of the civilian and humanitarian structures in Ukraine and providing direct help and direct supplementary help to Ukrainian civilian sector and non-military sectors to help them with humanitarian aid, like, pay the pensions, secure the warm blankets, pay for utilities. Well, as name suggests, aid. And this program indeed falls into the banning by the Trump administration. So of all of these four parts, the agency part is the only one that is impacted for Ukraine. So effectively, Trump administration has stopped assistance of humanitarian aid to Ukraine. Then let's turn our eyes to this side of the pond, and we turn our eyes to Europe. Now, I am a European. I love Europe. And because I love Europe, I look a lot more critically on Europe and what Europeans are doing, because we can be doing so much more. The Insider has released its new investigation. They do these constantly, looking at the companies all over the world that are violating the sanction packages that are going around us and taking us all for the fools. So here for us Europeans to know who are the enemies within, who are the people that are just trying to screw us all over. So there we've been looking at what companies are working with Russia despite the sanctions, and they're trying to play us for the fools by using some of the weird schemes like sending the equipment to Kazakhstan, where it suddenly kind of disappears and then just suddenly reappears in Russia, and the companies are pretending that they never had the knowledge of it. So the company number one is Poland, Seco Warwick. The international headquarters in Poland, one of the world's largest manufacturers of furnaces for heat treatment of metals. So extremely important. Like, imagine that. If you would need like a lot of metal heat treated, I wonder for which purposes would it be needed. Polish company is securing the equipment for Russia for fat profits, just to make sure that Russia can get its necessary equipment and necessary grade metals for their most likely defense industry, because defense industry, I'm not sure if you know, it consumes a lot of metal. Kosovo from Czech Republic. Czech international equipment manufacturer Kosovo has invested billions of rubles in a machine building plant in the Rostov region. Huge investments, building new factories. Not only not considering shutting down the business in Russia, but making additional investments, building new factories. Czech-owned company, Czech guy. Czech Republic, Labara and PTV. Labara is a comprehensive manufacturer of electrical insulating materials, capable of developing and manufacturing electrical components for various industrial sectors. Czech Republic, TOS Varnsdorf, produces metalworking machines. So you were asking, like, how is Russia able to produce tanks and everything? There we go, metalworking machines, supplied by Czech Republic. Czech Republic, Tachtek, not only not hide that they're working in Russia, but they're actively promoting and trying to grow the Russian market and promote the Russian market for a lot of their customers. They are engaged in construction and installation of heating and thermal furnaces for industrial enterprises. As you note here, it's like these are not something that, for mom and dad stores that these companies are selling. We're talking high-tech, big industrial equipment that are used pretty much without too much differentiation by the military sector. Switzerland, Magmetal SA, a major importer of steel products. There's a whole shady scheme of the ownership because the company is technically owned by the 27-year-old who has barely any money, and how he is able to own $1 billion turnover company is not completely clear. So it's a clearly corruption scheme, absolute disgrace that this is happening on European soil. But we're not done yet, because there is Sweden, GCE Group, a major global manufacturer of gas equipment. If you ever wondered who helps Russia fix all of those problems with gas they're having because of Ukrainian bombings, Sweden does. The company from Sweden, Malmö, is literally helping Russia sustain its war and their economy. Moreover, look at this. On February 19, 2014, the company signed a state contract to supply gear motors to the MF Stelmach Research Institute Polius, which develops laser rangefinders, target designators for high-precision weapons and laser gyroscopes for aircraft navigation systems. Literally, navigation systems used in missiles. My point is, guys, that if we want to do more help for Ukraine, we don't even need to raise new sanctions. We don't even need to send more weapons to Ukraine. We don't even need to spend more taxpayers' money, though we should do it. But even if we don't, then the easy way forward is at least to rein in this pile of dog shit that are literally sustaining Russian industry. Then turning back to US, Zelensky has recently proposed that US would take the Russian frozen assets and use them to buy weapons from United States and send them to Ukraine. It feels that the idea tickled some interest in the United States, and they're going to be exploring the possibilities, which I think is a great opportunity for all parties, for United States and for Ukraine. Then we need to talk about something very, very sad. Last week, the social networks have seen the footage of Russian armed forces capturing and then executing 8 Ukrainian prisoners of war. They're executing them in cold blood. This is not like a threatening situation where they had to run somewhere or go anywhere that could excuse them. No. It feels that the positions were fully captured by the Russians. They're sitting there with no threat. The Ukrainians are lying for a certain amount of time on the ground in that video. And then one by one, they're taking away, a little bit away, and then they're being shot at the back. This, I mean, like, you cannot describe just how inhumane it is, like literally World War II Nazi style, absolutely disgraceful. But I think it's another reminder of what we're doing and why we're doing. And specifically, it's a great reminder to all of the people that still are asking of me to come into understanding that deep Russian soul, that potentially not all of them are bad, that they are all there because of Putin, that they are just following orders or some other bullshit. So as this channel's authors noted, potentially it's the Lex Friedman that should consider seeing and showing this video to Putin to maybe talk with him what's happening on the video. Then some time ago, I showed a video about Russians attacking on the crutches over the field, and people were stunned by it. But then some other people started arguing, saying, Georgies, those are clearly not crutches. It's like demining sticks or something at that point. And for me, that was bizarre, because I knew for a fact that Russians are attacking on crutches. They're sending the wounded troops to attack Ukrainian positions. It's just beforehand, it was all in text, and there was little to no visual confirmation. And then finally the video appeared there. So it was pretty good for that reason. For me, it made perfect sense. But what I understood when people started pushing back on the fact that it was Russians on the crutches attacking, is that there is a disconnect in understanding what the Russian military is and how it operates. So I decided to subscribe to the AI dubbing solution from 11 Labs, and I'm going to start translating Russian videos to supplement my points about the state of the Russian military. So let's watch this video first and foremost to maybe clear out that understanding whether or not Russians are sending their troops to attack on crutches.
They are going to combat mission like that.
See, this is just fucked up, damn it.
Come on, boy.
Bro, I'll see you out. Just let me carry old man's bag first.
Damn,
No.
it's the 20th of January. One even had an epileptic seizure.
Come on, come on.
This is crazy. On crutches, the person went to the combat mission. Damn. It's insane.
Yes, Russian soldiers on crutches with weapons and bags are being loaded to go on the combat mission. What can go wrong? Then a lot of people saying is like, Georgie, you're treating Russians like they're some bloodthirsty animals that they want to kill everyone and everything. I mean, they're obviously been polluted by propaganda, but it's not like they really are up to like this. Well, let's listen to this blogger, Russian blogger here, talking about what he considers that should be done against criminals that even dared to oppose the great Russia and try to defend against their invasion of Ukraine. Let's hear it.
Agree. It's unfair, right? One guy donated 100,000 to the Ukrainians, and they used that money to kill our soldier, while another was commanding a group of troops, right? Not the same scale. Therefore, guilt of the first degree, we kill them out ourselves. Guilt of the second, kill the immediate family. Guilt of the third, cleanse everyone up to the 7th generation, so that humanity remembers for centuries you cannot touch the Russians.
So for his plan to be worked out, what needs to happen is Russia needs to capture the territory. And once they capture the territory, they will start essentially policing the people in that territory and conducting repressions on that territory. This is what this guy, this blogger Russian, is talking about. And he's not alone. And I'm going to be posting more videos just to prove my point. Finally, I always talk about the fact that, you know, Russia is maybe advancing on the front line in the east, or like we're looking at the maps, but it's insane what they're doing. And the problem is that it's me talking about this. Well, since we're dubbing it anyway, let's listen to the Russian guy talking about this and let's see what he has to say.
Just yesterday, 50 people left. 50 people. Today, one wounded in very serious condition in the 300s. Out of 50 people, 49 were all classified as 200. One was a 300 with a very serious injury. And even then, I don't know. They've taken him to the hospital, and it's just unclear whether he will survive or not now. And, by the way, those 3 million, 5 million that are promised, it's not given to everyone. It's half scams. They might give you some relocation money, and that's it. Their 3 million still hasn't arrived. Initially, I received some initial payout, 50,000, that's it. And then you buy your own bulletproof vest, you buy your own magazines, you buy your own pants, so people just don't fall for it. It's just bait, you understand. Remember, it's a one-way ticket. The special military operation is a one-way ticket. Yesterday, the people who left, the navigators, all of them, today they're not there. Just there, just a total meat grinder, you know, a meat grinder.
If you didn't know what 200, 300 is, that's the Russian classification. 200 is dead, 300 is wounded, and 500 is considered like a runaway, like a AWOL, so to say. And finally, guys, please continue supporting the Ukrainian armed forces. We are getting more and more thank yous and more requests from the Ukrainian armed forces to get the trucks to them. I'm going to post a video right after this announcement. We're over 106,000 and we are doing extremely well. And what I want to tell you, it's a little bit of a tease, but this channel has achieved unseen heights before. I have major news to share you. Like, I'm burning inside that I cannot tell about it right now. And I cannot tell you because I already promised that we're going to help these guys on a fundraiser until the end. So as soon as this fundraiser over, I will share with you the probably biggest news of this channel's history. And boy, what it's going to be like. In any case, guys, trust in Ukrainian armed forces. Support the Ukrainian armed forces. I love you. Slava Ukraini, and I'll see you next time.
Бажаю здоров'я. Ми бійці 94-го окремого протитанкового батальйону. Просимо про допомогу Джорджі та ком'юніті Ukraine Matters, Бандера Мобіль та Car for Ukraine в придбанні позашляховика, пікапа повноприводного для виконання бойових завдань, вивоз людей на позиції, евакуація та інше. Будемо вдячні за допомогу. Слава Україні!
Героям слава!